That is right. We're in the kitchen today with Chef Christopher Brown from Stratford University. Christopher, you've got a lot of things laid out here. What are we making this morning?
Today we're going to be making a pan-seared Chilean sea bass with an heirloom tomato chutney, and I'm going to be doing a pan-roasted lamb chop, the Colorado lamb with a mustard rosemary reduction.
You know, you only have a couple minutes to do this, so you're going to be put to the test. Can you pull it off, Christopher?
I believe so.
Because you're a professional.
I am.
And you're going to teach us how to make this. It's going to be delicious. Christopher Brown's going to get set in just a few minutes. Welcome back to the Hampton Road Show. Back now in the kitchen with Chef Christopher Brown from Stratford University. He is the Culinary Arts Program Coordinator and Chef Instructor there, and he's cooking up a feast in the Hampton Road Show kitchen today. We are going to begin with pan-seared Chilean sea bass with heirloom tomato chutney, and later on we're going to do the lamb chops. So, Christopher, what do we got to do first?
First things first is I have already seasoned up the sea bass. I've just got a very basic salt and pepper crust on it, and then I'm going to have you begin to make the sauce for us. So I hope you're up to it. Very simply, I need you to cut the basil up for me. I showed you a little earlier. So once that's all cut up into little strips, I'm going to have you add about a teaspoon of garlic and a teaspoon of the shallots to this pan in front of you. And then once that kind of cooks off a wee bit, we're going to add the tomatoes and a little white wine to it.
Okay, now you said cut this up in little strips. You're trusting me, aren't you,
I'm
Christopher?
trusting you. Right. So while he's doing that on this side, I've got my sea bass, and I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to get my pan nice and hot. I want this almost to the point where it starts to smoke lightly. That way, my fish won't stick to the pan.
Now tell me about the sea bass and why you chose that fish.
Well, the sea bass is just a nice, mild flavored white fish. It's also great because summertime's coming up. We have these delicious heirloom tomatoes that came in special, and all of the herbs actually came from our garden at the school.
Oh, wow.
So we do a lovely herb garden. In fact, we just replanted another one. So we're getting ready for the summertime for that.
You've got to have fresh herbs, right, Christopher?
Absolutely. Now, as we go through this, one of the things you want to pay attention to on your sea bass is the actual edges. As it cooks, you're actually going to see this start to white over, and you'll be good to go. And that's how you know when you should turn the sea bass. All right, that's looking good.
Okay, you want me to add that to the pan?
Well, we're going to add about a tablespoon of the garlic, or a teaspoon of the garlic, and a teaspoon of the shallots.
Gotcha. There you go.
All righty, get you some heat going.
How's that?
Perfect. Now, we're just going to let those sweat for a second. Once they get a little bit just slightly warm, we're going to go ahead and add the basil. Now, as you cook this, take a look at how nice that's getting.
That's nice looking.
Nice and golden. Now, one of the things I really like about the heirloom tomatoes is they are somewhat seasonal, but they add so much color to your dish. So what I tell my students is that you have to have color. We eat with our eyes first.
Sure.
So we have this beautiful stark white background of the fish, and now we have that bright from the tomatoes. So at this point, go ahead and add your basil in.
Now, I like you said, you got to let that sweat.
Yep. That actually helps pull the flavor of the shallots and the garlic out. And give that a little shake in the pan. Now,
shaking and sweating with Christopher Brown.
Give that just another second or more, and then you can add your tomatoes to it.
Okay. 1001, 1002. We ready?
We're ready.
All right, just like that.
Just like that.
Both of them?
Both of them.
They almost look like grapes.
Well, there are a great variety of heirloom tomatoes.
Okay.
Now, once you saute just for a second in this container here, you're going to put in about a quarter cup worth of balsamic vinegar. Now, this balsamic vinegar really adds a nice tartness to it, and that balances out because as it cooks down, it's a lot sweeter. So,
are we ready?
We're ready.
Now, you say a quarter cup. You just say when.
When.
Nicely done, Chris. All right.
So, once we get this up to a simmer, to get this even better, we have to add a little bit of flavor. I always like to cook with a little bit of white wine with it.
Right.
So, a little bit of white wine.
Just a tad.
Just a dab will do.
Okay.
Now, I trust you to season up and go for that?
Just to my taste?
Just to taste. Just a light salt and pepper.
I like pepper. And a little bit of sea salt.
All right. Now, we're going to let that cook down for just one more second while I go ahead and put this on a plate. Now,
sea bass looks good, nice and flaky.
it is a wonderfully flaky fish. It is delicious fish. So I'm going to come right over to you next.
Okay, it's almost time to plate it up. Show that finished product.
We've got this beautiful herbs. We have to talk about garnish now. We have all of this wonderful stuff already set up. I've got some chopped parsley, just for the last ingredient to go in, just to give that bright green, give it that visual pop.
Looks good.
So I'll just take it from here. Last thing we want to do, we always taste something before we go, just to make sure it's right. Outstanding.
All right.
You're hired.
Go ahead and throw that on top, and we'll wrap this dish up, and when we get back, we're going to do the lamb chops. And I guess you want to throw a little something on top?
Oh, yes.
Definitely.
Whoops.
Christopher Brown from Stratford University, making it look real easy this morning. If I can do it, I guess anybody can, right?
Absolutely. Cooking is fun.
There you have it right there. We're going to come back in a few minutes, and we're going to do the lamb chops. Good job. Come on. All right, we're back now in the kitchen with Chef Christopher Brown from Stratford University. He's cooking up a feast in the Hampton Road Show kitchen today. We already did the pan-seared Chilean sea bass. Now we're going to work on the pan-roasted Colorado lamb chop with rosemary mustard glaze. Now listen, like I just said, next time you come back in here, I got to do something about this. So bring me a hat.
I promise. I promise you.
Let's go lamb chops.
First things first, most important thing about the lamb chop is we have to get a great sear on this. So I have a little bit of olive oil in the pan, and again, you want it just to the smoking point. But while we're waiting for that to heat up, you did a great job with the sauce last time. I'm going to have you do it again.
All right.
So
here we go.
First things first, let's get you some nice medium heat on there. And we're going to put in about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of that nice Pommery mustard. It's the whole grain mustard, and that really adds a little bit of zip to the flavor of the sauce.
How much, Christopher?
About a tablespoon and a half. Be generous.
All right.
No fear.
There you go. Do I have to cut anything this time?
No, you don't.
All right, good.
Now, we're just going to let that come up to a nice, gentle simmer. And as that comes up to a simmer, the next thing we're going to add in is about the same thing you did last time with the garlic and the shallots.
Okay. Good thing I didn't use it all last time.
Oh, no, well, I've always got more. Wonderful. Now, one word of caution I want to give you about rosemary.
Here we go.
Can be
Listen up, everybody.
such a thing as too much rosemary in a dish. If you use too much, it'll taste like soap. So we want to go with just a pinch, maybe about a teaspoon.
You know, you're giving me these measurements, and I'm a little concerned about that.
A little more.
I'm
there
a
we go.
little concerned. There you
All
go.
right. So I'm going to give you some more heat on that one. And what I want you to go ahead and do is, since you have the spoon already, we just start to mix that in and work it in. And you'll know it's perfect once all of that stuff has been incorporated.
There's no sweating going on in this one, is there?
No sweating for this one. We just want those nice, pronounced, bright flavors of the garlic and the shallots in this dish, simply because lamb has a very pronounced, strong flavor itself.
Right.
So, now, like I said in the last one, we have to have a little bit of wine in here. To your left is a little ramekin of red wine. Go ahead and add all that in.
No problem.
And we're just going to keep stirring that up and just let it go.
All right. That's easy enough.
Now, one of the nice things about both of these dishes that we did today, they can both be done on the grill. Okay. So if you really like to grill outside, it's summertime again, which is why I chose these items in the first place, is simply because they are delicious and perfect for spring and summer. A little bit more seasoning on them. All right. You want to go ahead and add a little salt and pepper to that?
No problem. Get that here. First the salt. And then the pepper. Not much.
Now these lamb chops are going to take just about 45 seconds more. I prefer to like my lamb a little bit on the medium rare to medium side. It gets a little tough, and it can get a little bit more pronounced flavor as you start to cook it down more. So just always remember that. If you like your lamb a little pink, that's what we're looking for.
Okay, real quickly, while you're finishing that up, we have about a minute to go. Tell me about Stratford University's Culinary School and how neat that place is.
Stratford University's Culinary School is wonderful. We are located in 4 locations now. We are getting ready to open up another location in Newport News, right down the road from here, opening May 21st.
Oh, wow.
So, we are really looking forward to bringing that campus online and opening it up.
So if you're interested in the culinary arts, you can check them out at Stratford University.
Yep.
Christopher is more than happy to sort of chart your path in this fine world that he lives in.
Well, we can go to stratford.edu, which is our website, and you get all the information about the school and all the different campuses. So everything is there and easy to find.
Okay, so you're plating Are you about done here?
Oh, I am.
You are.
Now, take a look at our sauce. You see that nice little foam up on there?
Bubbling.
So this is perfect. This is right where we want it. Now, this is a little bit strong, so we don't want to go too much with it. Just enough to coat it lightly.
Christopher Brown, outstanding job with the bass and lamb chops. More on Stratford University. They offer master's and bachelor's associate degrees in the industry, and find them online and visit them online at, like I said, www.stratford.edu/culinary. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. Christopher Brown, can't wait to try this. Looks delicious. And hey, remember, next time you come in, what are you going to do?
Bring a chef's hat for you.
Bring me a hat. All right, thanks.
You're very welcome.